structures and algorithms using Java. So today we will be discussing about what are the basic concepts or are the concepts which we will be covering in this particular course. Okay. Yeah. So the things what we will be discussing in today's class is the importance of learning DSA in Java, and then some of the basics of Java programming language. I hope you know uh, Java programming, or else if you don't know, then we would be explaining the concepts as the DSA concepts would be implemented using Java programming language. We would be teaching you like how the basic code in Java would be run. Okay, so the Java basics, which you need to know if you want to, or as the prerequisite, you have to know the Java programming language. So, what are the concepts which will be coming in Java program? That is nothing but Java basics will be just gone through in this class today or session today. And after that we have the main core concept of the course, that is data structures and algorithm. So what is mean by data structures, and also what are the different data structures available there, and then different algorithms and why we need algorithms, what are algorithms. Okay, when I say algorithms, there comes one particular, and when I say data structures and algorithm, there comes one particular concept called as O notation, or else we also call it as big O notation. Okay. So these things we would be looking into in detail in today's session. So let's dive into it. Yeah. First of all, importance of learning DSA using Java programming language. Why we need DSA? That is nothing but data structures and algorithm. So it acts as a foundation for the problem solving skills. Now, the thing is, we might be standing in the interview in the queue to get selected in the interview, and what are they looking for? Nothing but in this IT field, you need to have that problem solving skills. So when you will be learning the problem solving skills, only if you have the knowledge of DSA. Means DSA is nothing but like it not only says it is not just a structure in which you will be storing the data. Okay, it is not just a structure in which you will be storing the what data or the organization of the data, but it's a foundation for the problem solving skills. You would be also knowing how internally the things are happening, okay, and how you can just solve a particular problem. So it acts as the foundation for the problem solving skills. It just improves the skills in you, like how, in what ways or in what eyes you can just view a particular problem and find a solution for it. The second thing is it is essential for the technical interview. So as I told, you would be standing in the interviews to standing in the queue to get selected in the interviews. But what do they ask? They first look into is problem solving skills, if you have it or not. Then how can you build it? By having the concept of DSA, because you need to know how for a particular problem what solution has to be given, and for in order for that solution to be working very efficiently, how you need to store the data inside the computers. Okay, so that would be the main thing. So problem solving skills is one thing, and then how to implement it in the code, and that too very efficient, is also one more thing. So that is the third point. That says the third point, like it improves the coding efficiency and performance. Okay. Yeah. Now one thing is essential for the technical interview. So we look for in the candidate, we look for the problem solving skills, and also we see whether they are being able to code efficiently and the high performing codes. And also one more thing is the technical interviews when we face, like interviews have many different stages. Like first one would be your aptitude test. Okay, there many things will be coming there, like something about the programming language in generally they will be asking. And then they will be asking in the aptitude itself, there will be some kind of logical questions which would be what evaluating your problem solving skills. And then afterwards there might be something about language comprehension. They might look at, okay, so how good you are to understand the language. Okay. Yes, so logical reasoning will be there. Okay, logical thinking will be there. So those will be the first round of your interviews. Then comes the second round with the technical interview. Okay, like everything would be your technical things they would be asking, or sometimes they will be giving you the question and you have to write the code for it. Okay, that can also be considered as a technical interview. Now, how do they evaluate your logic, or how do they evaluate your solution which you have given for a problem? So that is nothing but there is some concepts which we need to learn in DSA, okay, which will help you to crack these technical interviews by knowing a lot and lot of things in this, okay, which is nothing but it will lead you to creating the efficient what course. So that's why we have to learn DSA. Okay. And now one more thing is why you need Java. DSA you can do it even in the Python language, even any language you can do it, but why you need Java? Okay, one thing is it's platform independence. Okay, the feature of Java for being a platform independent, that is nothing but you write a code in one platform and you can run it anywhere if you just have that executable file. Okay, because it is platform independence. You can like every in a, like for example it we call it as a cross platform, means we have what to consider. Okay, so it can be your Ubuntu. If you have written a code in Ubuntu and you are creating a class file, and the same class file you can it is portable and you can send it and you can run it in the Windows machine. So that is platform independence. And one more thing is strong memory management. Okay, so the garbage collection, okay, all those things are there. Dynamic garbage collection, everything is there. So Java, it is considered as a strong, it is having the strong memory management. And next is rich API and robust community support. So Java is not the language which we have seen today or yesterday. It has its own legacy. Okay, that's why it is having a big community support. Okay, so for example, I don't know if you guys have learned about mobile application development or heard some technologies. So if I talk about that, like Moon Stack is there, okay, wherein you will be using React Native to create the mobile application. Okay, React Native is there. So if I consider that the community support is much more for that particular technology, then one more technology stack which we will be using to develop the mobile applications, which is nothing but Flutter. So how many know Flutter? Many may know Flutter, but the community support is very less. Why you need community support? Because in case if some error you are encountering with some errors in the future, okay, you need to solve it. So without the documentation might be there, but you may not have the time to go through this and just the debug and thus debug all those things what you're getting. So if there is a community support, it is very easy for us because like we know other than, okay, nowadays I when we have errors and all, okay, what the students do is they'll just put it in the chat GBT. Okay, but the thing is wherein we can find the large amount of community support for many different languages could be Stack Overflow. So what will happen there? Already, if the problem which you are getting is already being solved by someone else, will be posted in the Stack Overflow. If you have any queries, you can type it and the Stack Overflow website would be giving you the suggestion saying that this is being already solved by a person for some other's query. Okay, so that is robust community support. So Java being one of the most sought after language, and it is allowing us to do a lot of things. Okay, not one or two things. It is allowing us to do from what from the software development to game development. Okay, so there's a lot of things we can do in Java and even the application development. Okay, so that also has the rich community support. And one more thing is rich API. So everything is coming with the help of package. Okay. So what kind of things we have or we need to do with the help of Java when you download the JDK? Okay, that I'll be explaining. So since you will be using Java for working on with the DSA concepts, we actually need this one. What uh, some things need to be set up in your system so that you can run codes in that. So whatever we are implementing to understand the structures, okay, in DSA. So we need to have something downloaded into your system, and you have to set up your system so that the Java codes will be run. Okay, so when you download that something called as JDK, which is nothing but Java Development Kit, okay, many functions or many packages would be available for you, and that is nothing but we call it as rich API. Okay, the thing which actually help us to work on with or as a Java programming language. Okay. Now we'll just see about the Java basics. Okay, so if I introduced a Java programming language to you, if you don't know it, okay, because this course is all about data structures and algorithm. So if you want to learn Java, you have to like you need to go through some Java prerequisites in order to get into this course. Okay, so if you know Java, and it would be very better because all our codes which will be executed will be in Java programming language. So Java is a popular high-level language, and it is a class-based object-oriented programming language. Means it is an object-oriented programming language, not the procedure-oriented. So everything in the real world, what we consider, all the object what we consider in the real world will be considered as that as a class-based one. Okay, and then to talk about its early entries of Java. Okay, it is developed by the Sun Microsystems and it is released in 1995. So think about it. It has been released in 1995. Even Python languages also has been released in somewhat that period itself. But it has been got much recognition after once the AI, artificial intelligence, has come into boom. Okay, everywhere we are going to use Python just for the cause. But before that, the Java was the very dominant one, and also still now it is dominant one. We cannot say it's not dominant. Okay, but as AI is booming, okay, this happens. And Java, like the cloud structure, all those things like infrastructure level, the software to build, we will be using Java itself. Okay, so once it is developed by Sun Microsystems, it was owned by Oracle. Okay, and now the more than 3 billion devices are running Java programming. Okay, and as I've told you, to run the DSA codes in Java, you need to have the development environment set up in your system. So nothing but you need to download the JDK. So to go to download the JDK, you have to visit the Oracle Java website. Okay, so as it is owned by Oracle now, the executable files in order to download the Java will be present in the Oracle website. So we have to go to Oracle Java downloads, and then we have to download the JDK. So we need to select the appropriate JDK version for the operating system, whatever you're having, as it is a platform independent. You can run it in any platforms. Okay, if you are using Mac, there is a specific version for Mac OS. There is a specific executable file for. There is a specific file for Windows. So appropriate according to your operating system, whatever you are using, you just download it. Okay, so and also we have to first consider which machine you're using. Okay, and also the JDK version also matters. Okay, like here it is given example as JDK 11, but the most the latest version is Java 23. But the long term support, there is something called as LTS version. Okay, when we go for the JDK version, there is something called as LTS, which is long term support. So some packages or some versions would be under development. So when it is under development, when you install, some upgradations might happen every time. So when you write the code without updating the version itself, you may get error. Okay, saying that something has been deprecated, like that. So what you do is the full term, the long term support version itself, it is better to download. So you can go with JDK 20, version 21. Next, you have to, once you download the JDK, this JDK is nothing but the Java development kit. So whatever thing you need, as I told you, it is having the rich API. Nothing but when you download the JDK, everything you will be getting from there. Once you download the executable file from the Oracle Java downloads, you then install the JDK. Okay, and then this is a simple code how the Java program would look like. Okay, so as we will be executing the Java programs in Java, or the algorithm, different algorithm implementation will be done in Java programming language. Okay, the one structure how the Java programming would look like is it will be having a main class. Okay, it is class based object oriented as we have seen, and there will be an import statement if I'm working with some collections framework and all which comes in the Java programming language. We have to import something from the API as I told. Okay, everything is available, but we have to just call it. So to call it, you have to import the certain statement. So importing the classes from the packages, and then this is the main class. So this is a simple code which will print the hello world onto the screen. That's all. So now just to print the hello world, you have to write this much setup. So even if you don't write the importing statement now, it won't be an issue because we are not writing any code which is actually requiring input and output system. Okay, that is stands IO stands for that. So here what happens is we have to just create a class. So as it is class based, everything is just class. So you create a class. Inside the class, you need a main function. So any class which has the main function, we call it as a main class. Okay, so we have a main class here, which is doing nothing, which is simply uh, printing something onto the screen. Hello world. That's all. Okay. Yeah. So once you write the code, so I'll be just showing you the demo how to run a Java code. Okay. And once we run the code, oh, sorry, once we write the code, how to run the code, that is very important. So we have to go to command prompt. And first of all, there are two things to be done. One is I have to compile the code, and then I have to run the code. Okay. So compiling the code, how, what is the command? In the command prompt, everything is a command. So you give a command, it will be performing according to that. So after going to the command prompt, you compile the code. Okay, you compile the code. So how to compile the code with Java C? This is nothing but Java C is nothing but the command to um, compile. So without installing JDK into your system, and while installing JDK, some PCs of older version may need to add environment variables. The path needs to be set in the environment variables. Okay, but apart from that, uh, uh, if you write the code, I mean, if you are actually trying to write the command Java C in the command prompt, then it may say that unrecognized command. So before using this command, you have to make sure that you have installed the JDK. After that, after compiling the code, we'll be having Java C file name.java. Okay. So yeah, once we return the code, so as we see here, once after writing the code, you will be saved. And one thing which I wanted to say is we will be creating the main class, correct? So in Java, the main class name should be always your file name, or else where you giving the file name, your main class name and your file name should be the same along with the extension .java. Okay, so while you're compiling also, you will be wanting you will need, or you need the name of the file, and also while running you need the name of the file. So to compile the code, the command used is Java C, and to run the code, the command used is Java. So there C stands for compiling the code in Java C. Okay, and for both you have to provide the file name. So Java C file name dot Java and Java file name dot sorry, here dot Java is not needed because what happens is when you create a file name, when you compile the code, one class file will be generated. To run the code, you will be using that class file. Okay, so Java file name, class file, or we call it as the bytecode. Okay, yeah. So And these are some of other concepts in Java, which you need to know, like basic concepts. Okay. So before that, let me show you how to execute one code in using Java programming language. So I think it's okay. Let me use Notepad to write the code, and then I'll use the command prompt to write and execute the code. Okay. And I'll also show you how, once you compile, how the bytecode will be generated. So just give me a second. Yes, I have shared the screen. This is how Notepad++ looks like. Okay, so we'll start typing the code now. As I've told you, okay, as I have told you here, we need to start with the class. Okay, in Java. So let me save the file. So I'll save it as okay. What name we will be giving is, we will give as demo. Okay, so I'll be giving the name as demo.java, and always the file name needs to be in the capital letter, the first name, like the class name. It's a rule that class name, whenever you give the name for a class, it should be in the capital letter. So I'll be saving it as demo.java, and now you can see this has been saved as demo.java. So let's start writing public class demo. Okay, and then this one is public class demo. And okay, as the main class, as I've told you, so the name of the class, so this class is going to be the main class. The main class is nothing but a class which is containing the main function. And this red color indicates that the file is not saved. So once I press Ctrl S, once I save it, it will be becoming blue color. So you can make sure that it has been, your file has been saved. So now, once I write the class structure, now after that, I have to write the main method. So how to write the main method? Public static void main. So this is the structure for whatever code you write in Java program. Okay, you need a main method. We know that every code needs a main method, which is the driver or the initiator of the code running. So when your compiler always looks for the main function, okay, or the interpreter to run, okay, to run it, it always look for the main function. So public class demo public static void main. Now what the simple code which we have seen is to print something onto the screen. Okay, so here, okay, in Python, if you know, we have used print, or in C++ language we have used cout or printf, but here it's not like that. Here I have to write system.out.println. So this entire line is for just printing something onto the screen. System.out.println, and we will print something which is nothing but hello world. Okay, so we are printing this. Let me save this. And now what we have to do is we have to run, correct? Before running, I have to compile the code. So, okay, I'll show you how the class file or the bytecode is generated. So I hope now this folder has been visible to you. Okay, so what happens here is, So now the file you can see here is just the demo.java you can see. Okay. Now what happens is once I compile the code, one more file will be created. Now the type of the file is Java source file. When I compile the code, so we know that to run the code we need to compile the code. So when I compile the code, what will happen is a class file will be generated or a bytecode will be generated, which will be in the extension demo.class. So we will see that. Okay. Before that, let me open command prompt. So your command prompt needs to be in your prompt needs to be like its path needs to be set before you run the code. So what we will do is, let me just type command prompt, and initially your command prompt would be coming with your base path, okay, or your home directory's path it would be coming. So you need to set to the path, or you have to go to the path where exactly your Java program is stored. So here now we have, this is my root folder. Okay, my root folder path is. Now if I want to change to my folder where exactly I have stored the file, so this is nothing but in Java folder in the desktop I have saved it. So if I give here, if I just click there, your entire path is coming, correct? C uses ARAH, then OneDrive and desktop Java. So your whole path will be coming. So now what we do is, one thing is I can copy this path. I can copy this path and I can come to command prompt and I can write cd command, which is nothing but stands for change directory. And just if I paste it, it will take, now my new path has become this one. Okay, it will take me to that particular path, and now I can just execute whatever I want. Like I can compile the code, I can run the code because now I'm within Java directory. But one more thing which would be very easy is to just directly go towards the a path, okay, where exactly your code is stored. So cd, if I give dot dot, it will be coming to the parent directory. So we'll just come back to our root directory. Okay, the parent directory or the home directory. Now what I will do is I'll show you the trick, like how to just come directly to the working directory. My working directory is Java within the desktop folder, correct? So you come here, you click here, and you just type. When it is selected itself, you have to type. So just click once, something would be selected. Your whole path would be selected in blue. Okay, and you just type CMD there. Okay, you just type CMD, and immediately the CMD which will be open for you will be having the directory changed for your home directory. Now this is the new terminal which I have opened. This is the new command prompt which I have opened, and that is directly coming with our working directory, the directory in which I save my files. Okay. Yeah. So here I can just compile the code. Okay. So let me close the previous command prompt and we'll work on this now. And I'll show you the folder now. So now only the source file is present. Okay. Now what happened once I compile? Now how to compile? We will be writing Java C command, and then we will be writing the name of the file. So what is the name of the file which we have given is demo.java. So if there is any error would come at the time of compilation. Now there is no error. That is why the compilation is done properly. So once the compilation is done properly, if you go back to your this one, if you go back to your folder or your working directory, what happens is you will be able to see the class file. So the type of the file is class file, and the extension dot class. So what is present inside that? The bytecode will be generated. Okay, and while running the code, actually this class will be used. Okay, now demo class is already created. Now I have to run the code. So I will be running using Java command and then demo. Okay, so okay, there is an error. What I have missed is always the main method should be having this string args, and that is fixed in the syntax. Okay, so I was missing that. So the error says now, okay, at the time of running, now the error says for me that here you should not leave the main function empty, because main function is expecting some arguments. So the syntax would be such that always you have to expect for some argument Java's main method. So this is the right form. Now we'll go once again and then compile the code and run the code. Now we are being able to see the output, whichever we have tried to display. That is hello world. Okay. Now one more thing, if I make some mistake, if I just missed out a T while writing out, okay, we will come back to the command prompt and we'll just compile the code. And the error is clearly written in which line number the error is and what is the error. So it says cannot find the symbol out, because out is not there. It is out. Okay, we have missed. And it's actually pointing out where exactly the error is. And so it is very easy for us to debug it also. And it says clearly how many errors are there, where is the location exactly, what is the variable we are sorting for. Okay, so all the things are given properly. So when you get error, it's not a big deal, because if you have hundreds of lines here, all the errors will be given. And most of the time you shouldn't be scared by seeing the errors, because it's nothing. If you are being able to read English, you can just debug the error, just as simple as that. Okay, so and you once you start uh, learning how to debug some errors, if you are making some mistakes, and you just will love how to debug the code. Okay, for that first you need to know how the syntax are. So once I got the error, I got to know, okay, the error that is coming because the string args need to be there, because string args is something which comes as a part. Okay, so these, even if you don't have this code says what I have to do once I run the program. But this is a normal structure. This needs to be there to execute anything in the Java programming line. Okay, yeah. Okay, now coming back to Java basics. So we have seen how to run a small chunk of code in Java. Okay, how to implement it just in order to print something onto the screen, and then how to run it. So we have to go to command prompt, we compile the code, and we run the code. So we have seen that. Now we'll see some other concepts which is included in Java. So first of all, data types. Okay, there are many different data types which Java allows. So some of them are int, float, char, and boolean. Then we will, if I go through, we can use the variables. Okay, there is variable concept, there is constant concept. To create constants in Java, we will be using final keyword. Okay, and also most of the time we'll be using static and final keyword. The next thing is about the operators. So Java provides many different operators, okay, including about 8 operators it is providing. So if you just want to go through, like, you can go through these concepts before you getting into this course, that is the core DSA in Java. Okay, yeah. So operators, arithmetic operator, logical operator, assignment operator. Then we have expressions. Okay, then control structures like if else, switch, for loop, while loop, do while loop, everything. Now here the loops play very important role when we create an algorithm, or when we look for the complexity analysis, and also the algorithm what we are going to implement. Okay, so all these things you need to be knowing clearly. Okay, the basic Java. Next, what we have is the OOPS concept. Okay, so classes, objects, constructors, access specifiers. You just need to know what are these concepts. That's all. Okay, because whenever I use some terminologies while explaining the code, you need to know what exactly it is. So that's just I'm suggesting you. If you don't know Java, then you just go through a prerequisite just to learn about the Java basics. And some advanced concepts are there like inheritance, polymorphism, abstract classes, and interfaces. So we may or may not use these things. Okay, but we most of the time we might use this, because to implement big algorithms we need what, like, to build efficient algorithms, we always see in a minimum number of time it should execute, and also it should take less space. The memory management should be higher. So these concepts, this inheritance, polymorphism, everything will be is helping me to have that efficient to write the efficient code, and so we can use the Java programming language to implement the DSA structures, okay, including the data structures and algorithms. Okay. So next we'll come, that's about the Java basics, okay, the OOPS concept and the advanced concept in the OOPS. Next we will see about the data structures. So a data structure is a way of organizing and storing data in a computer so that it can be accessed and used efficiently. Okay. So what is the data structure? We know to solve a problem, we need to write code. Okay, to automate something, we need to write a code, which is nothing but we say we are going through an algorithm and we are implementing it. But then again, to implement it efficiently, we have to consider all the metrics like the time, okay, the access time from access time of the elements from the memory. So if you store in which structure, you will be able to, if you store in what structure, you will be able to just what, like in what structure, if you are storing something easily, how you can access it. So that is very important. So we have many different way of organizing and storing the data in the computer so that it can be accessed and used efficiently. And what is data structures? It refers to the logical or mathematical representation of data as well as the implementation in the computer program. Okay, now to just broadly see about the classification of the data structure, we have two things. One is linear data structure and another one is non-linear data structure. So linear data structure meaning we have already learned. What is that? It is nothing but you are organizing the data so that it can be efficiently or easily accessed and used efficiently. Okay. So if I store the data linearly one after another in a contiguous memory location in the memory, if I store in that way, then it is linear data structure. Okay. And there are not only linear data structure, we also have non-linear data structure in which we will be storing the data not in a linear way, means in contiguous memory location, we are not going to store it. Okay. Yeah, so that is two main classification of data structure, which is linear data structure and non-linear data structure. Next, in linear data structure, if I consider, we have two things. One is static data structure and another one is dynamic data structure. So now what is static data structure? So in the static data structure, as an example, there is array data structure. Okay. So you might have learned, if you know some other programming language, array would be the concept which will be coming. So static data structure means the example is array. Now what happens in the array here? It's nothing but things we will be storing one after the another. But once you create an array, you cannot expand it. Okay, the whatever size of the array you give to it while you are declaring it, that's the end. You cannot expand it. So that is static data structure. Now, what is dynamic data structure? You can just expand it as and when required. So some of the examples for this dynamic data structure is queue, stack, and linked list. Okay. Yeah. So queue, stack, and linked list is there. So that is dynamic data structure. So in detail, we'll be going to learn in this what course. Okay. So in this demo class, we'll be just going like just a overview will be given to you, like what is queue, what is stack, what is linked list, how it is working. That's all. Okay. Yeah. And next one is the non-linear data structure. So what is happening in the non-linear data structure? So in the nonlinear data structure means what? As I told you, the data is stored, not stored in the linear way, will be stored in the nonlinear way. Okay, means it is not stored in the memory. In the memory, considering the memory, in the memory, it is not stored in the contiguous memory location. Okay, it is stored somewhere else, like not one after the another. It is stored. So it is stored somewhere like wherever wanted, but it is connected to each other. So for this thing and all, we will be actually making use of the pointers and also to connect to the what elements which is stored in the different memory locations. Okay, and the two example would be tree and graph. So if I consider uh, this classification of the data structure itself, how it is depicted to you, like there is one node, main node data structure, then some two branches are there, which is linear data structure, non-linear data structure. So this will just show you how a tree structure look like, correct? So there are some branches, there are some leaves, there are some root. Okay, so in this way, uh, there might be some problems which needs to be solved in this way. Well, so which will be helping us to access the way, what elements very easily and also efficiently I can make use of it. Okay, so that is one non-linear data structure, which is tree, and one more is graph. Now, to put it simply, where you will be using this graph data structure, nothing but your network analysis. Or, for example, if I consider Google Map, okay, how the data will be stored is in the form of the graph because, for example, if I consider um, okay, your place, from your place, your location, you want to go to, you're in search of one place and you want to go to that particular place. And so you will be considered as two nodes in the graph, and the connecting lines would be like the two nodes can be connected in many different lines, which is nothing but your route. Okay, and in the same way, the communication network, the cellular network, how from one place to another place the things are there. So how the logistics, if I consider how it moves, so to to show the route map and all, we need some data structures, okay, which is nothing but I can go with the graph data structure. Got it? Yeah. So this is just an overview. So we will see a bit more about it, like what how the tree works and what are the different operations the tree will be having. Different kind of trees are there which you will be going to learn, and then what how the graph is working, what might be the algorithms we are going to implement while learning the graph concept, and then what is stack, what is the like what to say, what is the use case of stack data structure, means to solve what kind of problem we need the stack data structure, how stack is working, then linked list, queue, everything in detail will be going to see in the next class. Okay, yeah, that's all for today. Thank you.